In the summer of 1173, in the quiet English village of Woolpit, Suffolk, two children emerged from the edge of a deep ditch known as the Wolf Pit, a trap once used to catch wolves, with skin of a startling green hue, dressed in unfamiliar clothing, and speaking a language no villager could understand. They were a brother and sister, frightened, malnourished, and utterly disoriented. Their sudden appearance, so strange and unexplained, became the stuff of legend. This is the story of the Green Children of Woolpit, one of the most perplexing mysteries of the medieval world, a tale that blurs the line between history, folklore, and the unexplained. The earliest accounts come from two credible 12th century chroniclers, William of Newburgh and Ralph of Coggeshall. Both were respected clerics and historians, known for their careful documentation of events. They did not present the story as a miracle or a divine sign, but as a strange occurrence they felt compelled to record. According to their writings, the children were discovered by reapers working in the fields near the Wolf Pit. At first, the workers thought them spirits or demons, but as they approached, they saw they were flesh and blood, just unlike any children they had ever seen. The most striking feature was their skin, described as green as leaves, not a tint or illness, but a full, unnatural color covering their entire bodies. Their eyes were wide with fear. They wore garments made of a fine, unknown fabric, woven in a pattern no local weaver could recognize. They clutched each other tightly, refusing to speak or eat. When offered food, bread, meat, milk, they turned away. For days, they consumed nothing. Then, by chance, someone brought raw green beans to the field. The children lunged for them, devouring the pods with urgency. From that moment on, beans became their only sustenance. They were taken in by a local knight, Richard de Calne, who raised them in his home. Slowly, they began to adapt. Over weeks, their green hue began to fade. As they started eating other foods, their skin returned to a more natural tone. The boy, younger and weaker, never fully recovered. He grew sullen, refused to learn English, and died within a year. The girl survived, gradually learning the language and eventually converting to Christianity. She was baptized and given the name Agnes. Through her, the full story began to unfold. She said they came from a land called St. Martin's Land, a place where the sun never shone. It was always twilight, lit by a faint, eerie glow that came from the earth itself. The people there were all green-skinned, living in harmony, unaware of war, suffering, or night and day as we know them. There were no bright colors, no stars, no moon, only a dim, perpetual half-light. She described the moment they entered our world. While tending their flocks near a cave, a loud, thunderous noise echoed through the mountainside. The ground trembled, the animals panicked and bolted into the tunnel. The children followed, desperate to keep them from escaping. Deep inside, they saw a stream of bright light, unlike anything they had ever seen. Drawn to it, they emerged into a world of blinding sun, vivid colors, and overwhelming noise. The sky was too blue, the grass too green, the air too sharp. They were lost, terrified, and utterly alien. One of the most compelling historical theories is that the children were Flemish immigrants. In the 12th century, Flemish settlers were persecuted in England, and many historians believe the children may have been separated from a group fleeing violence. Their green skin, possibly caused by chlorosis, a form of iron deficiency anemia common in malnourished young women, which can cause a greenish tint to the skin. Their language, Flemish, which would have sounded like gibberish to English villagers. But this theory has serious flaws. Chlorosis rarely causes full-body green discoloration, and never in children of both genders. The diet of raw beans doesn't align with Flemish cuisine. And why would they speak of an underground world? Why point to a cave as their entry point? If they were lost refugees, why no mention of parents, a village, or a journey? The trauma of displacement could explain some of it, but not the depth of their story. Another possibility is that the tale is a medieval allegory, a symbolic narrative about spiritual awakening. In Christian symbolism, green represents rebirth, renewal, and divine grace. The children emerge from darkness, sin, into light, salvation. They reject worldly food, temptation, are nourished by simple beans, humble faith, and are baptized, redeemed. The wolf pit, a trap for predators, could symbolize deliverance from evil. The story may have been crafted to teach a moral lesson, not record an event. Yet, the level of detail suggests something more than fiction. The chroniclers name Richard de Calne, the knight who raised them. They record that the girl later married a man in King's Lynn and lived a quiet life. These are not the hallmarks of a parable. They read like eyewitness accounts. Even skeptics admit something happened, whether misinterpreted, mythologized, or truly strange. Could the children have come from a hidden or isolated community? Some speculate they belong to a forgotten group, living in caves or remote forests, cut off from society for generations. Their green clothing might have been dyed with local lichen or plants. Their language, a lost dialect, evolved in isolation. The underground world could be a metaphor for a land cut off from the light of civilization, not literal, but poetic. Or was it something more extraordinary? In the 20th century, the story was reinterpreted by UFO researchers and sci-fi writers. Some suggest the children were from another dimension or even another planet. The cave was a portal. The green skin was biological adaptation. The twilight world was a parallel Earth. The thunderous noise could have been an energy surge, a rift opening between worlds. To them, we were the aliens. The timing is curious. In 1173, Europe was in turmoil. The Crusades raged, kings fought for power. Yet in a small English village, a mystery unfolded that defied explanation and was recorded not as fantasy, but as fact. No church declared it heresy. No king dismissed it. It was accepted as a rare, unexplained event. Not a miracle, not a lie, but a puzzle. The girl, Agnes, lived the rest of her life in England. She never tried to return. She never found the cave again. But she reportedly said, near the end of her life, that she believed her brother had not died, but had been taken back to their world. Whether this was grief, imagination, or memory, it adds a haunting layer to the story. Modern explorers have searched for the cave. Locals still point to hollows and tunnels near Woolpit, but no entrance matching the description has been found. The wolf pit itself was filled in centuries ago. All that remains is the story, preserved in chronicles, retold in books, and passed down through generations. What makes the Green Children so enduring is that they don't fit into any single box. They weren't saints, not demons, not hoaxes. They were real children. That much seems certain. But who they were and where they came from remains a mystery. Were they lost? Were they from a forgotten land? Or did they slip through a crack in reality? Next on Hidden Case Log, The Man Who Never Was, a World War II operation that used a dead man with fake documents to deceive the Nazis and change the course of history. Was it genius or a ghost story in disguise? Find out in the next episode. Subscribe to Hidden Case Log, where mysteries never stay buried.